So my name is Jacqueline Haynes. I am the Associate Superintendent for Acceleration Schools for Charleston County School District. And my role is to basically turn schools around that are on the state list that are underperforming. These schools are sometimes considered needing comprehensive support or priority schools. And my job is to get them off of that state list and to turn the schools around so they have better performance of average and above in our state. Now, all of the schools are not on the state list, but the elementary schools or the middle schools may feed into a school that is maybe higher performing, but we need to support the students that are in elementary and middle to keep those schools off the state list. So when they get to high school, they are better performers. How do you get the job done in turning schools around? Number one, I feel, is leadership. You have to have leaders that are committed to the hard work. The fact that our school district recognizes that we need to do something different, that's a start. But having that principal that's a leader and that team and working the system to make it better. So great leadership. Secondly, it takes rigorous curriculum. So when you're going into schools that need to be turned around, you really need to look at what have they been using as curriculum? How are we teaching our students? Are we raising the expectation, the bar, in order for them to meet the standards that they need to meet? So having that rigorous curriculum, and then having teachers that know how to teach. Teachers that are committed, that know how to provide that instructional delivery, and if they don't, then having professional development to do so. If you notice, some of these schools are in the inner city or lower socioeconomic areas. So having that rigorous curriculum, having leaders that believe and commit to teaching students what they need to do, basically our Black and brown students, and just raising that rigor. And what I'm finding is it worked elsewhere, it's working in other places, it's working here, because we have moved some of our schools to a higher grade. We'll know in December if they're off the state list. So we're hoping that of the at least 8 schools that are on the state list, at least 4 of them are moving off. Hunley Park, Stono Park, and North Charleston Elementary School, all of our schools moved up, but they made significant growth. And they went from a rating of maybe unsatisfactory to now being average, and we're working to be excellent. So those are the ratings in South Carolina. So their work has been intentional. The leadership work has been intentional. So they have put systems in place. And those systems consist of making sure that we have professional learning communities for teachers to collaborate about what they're reading and what they're teaching, and ensuring that the curriculum, the new curriculum that we've brought in, is being implemented with integrity. We don't want to say fidelity, but with integrity, making sure that our teachers understand what they're teaching, how they're teaching it, and how we get those instructional strategies over to the students. So those 3 schools have done a tremendous job of moving their school, especially North Charleston Elementary. They were one of the lowest schools, but the systems that are in place in all of those schools, they're working. So the focus for 2023 is drilling to the core. That's our theme for the year. Drilling to the core, looking at that data and being intentional on how we are differentiating instruction for students that need it. So if I have a high group of students, how am I differentiating that instruction, making it different, and my average student, how am I doing, what am I doing with them? And then my lower achieving students, how am I moving the needle in all three areas? Because we just don't want to focus on our low performing students. We have high performing students in these schools. So we have to make sure that everyone's moving, up. So really looking at data, we've hired a data strategist, or we have a fellow from Harvard that is a data strategist, and she's working closely with our schools. The innovation piece comes from the curriculum and just thinking outside of the box about how do we serve students, how do we give teachers more time to plan and to create that instruction that needs to be given.